next selection will be by Tampa Bay, which is now on the clock with the choice acquired from Philadelphia.
Well, there's no mystery anymore. Derrick Alexander is a fine player, but certainly was not as high up as Warren Sapp until all of this came out yesterday. Let's go to Craig James. Craig?
Absolutely right, Chris. There's no way you can rate Alexander as high as Warren Sapp. Warren, right now, the emotions.
I mean, it's just a tough situation. I'm just sitting here waiting around, but I mean, it's not that tough.
You're, Drew Rosenhaus, as the agent, what are you hearing on the phones right now?
Well, my phone's ringing right now, so I think it's going to be any second. Literally, this could be the key call. I think it's obvious he's going to be drafted very soon. I suspect it could be this call right now. Let's see.
Let's do it.
Hello, Rosenhaus. Yes. Yes, Jerry. Okay, you got it. I got to take this call, guys, okay?
All right. Well, obviously it is an important phone call, and we'll let you know just as soon as we can.
We're into phone tapping now here at ESPN. That's nice to know.
Brad, I believe it was Jerry Angelo, player personnel from Tampa, that was talking to Warren Sapp, and I'm going to bet you everything I got in my pocket. I wasn't a big quarterback. I got $21 in my pocket, but I say Tampa Bay takes Warren Sapp right now. Remember, they got a couple of second-round picks, and they got a guy that they didn't think would be there when they had the 8th pick in the draft. Now they're going to get him with a move down. I think it would be a great pick. And I recall a few years ago there were rumors about a guy named Dan Marino who fell all the way to the last pick of the first round with similar types of rumors about him. Turned out to be a pretty good football player. Chris?
Yeah, I would say that you went on a limb with that one, Gary. Let's go back to Craig James because, yes, it was a phone call that they had to take, wasn't it, Craig?
Absolutely, a very important phone call. Sam Weiss was on the phone there with Warren Sapp. Drew, are you surprised that Tampa Bay's the team?
Yeah, I'm surprised, yes. We didn't expect that they would. We had talked to them pretty extensively, but I didn't think they'd be the team. But we're elated because if he had to fall later than we thought he would go, at least he's in his home state. He's an hour and a half away from his hometown. He's in the right defensive scheme. And they have more Hurricanes on their NFL roster than any other club except for the Cowboys. So I'm happy for he and his family. They get to stay in the state of Florida. This is a Florida guy. So it's
Warren,
consolation.
Is this a situation where one of these days you're going to look back and say, hey, I told you so?
I mean, I'm just happy that, you know, Bucs made this decision, and, you know, I'm just ready to move on and play some ball right now.
You feel like you're a top 3 pick in this draft?
I mean, right now I'm Tampa's pick for hopefully, and then we'll move on from there.
Did you ever expect to have something like this happen to you?
I mean, you know, there's always somebody looking to knock you off a pedestal, so, I mean, it doesn't really bother me that much.
When you talk to the Buccaneers, did they try to do any kind of numbers with you right now to work something out?
Well, we have some parameters. We're going to have to get together in the next couple of days and iron the deal out, but I don't have any problem with that because, you know, it'll be something secure for him, and we feel comfortable with the 12th slot, and we're happy to be in Florida. There's no state tax there, and the Bucs have a lot of money to spend, so he'll get a big share of that.
He's already looking out for you, Warren.
That's why I hired him, I guess.
All right, Boomer, a relieved Warren Sapp.
Yes, that's for sure, Craig. So Warren Sapp will go with the 12th overall pick to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Relieved. How do you spell it? You're looking at it. The resolution of the question. Where does Warren Sapp go? We now know, although we have not had the official announcement yet, but I think we took you behind the scenes here, that Warren Sapp is about to be the first selection of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there is Warren. You just heard him with our Craig James. The card has come up to the commissioner, and the Buccaneers went down 5 slots, got some extra picks, and still got a guy they would have coveted at 7. Let's go to the podium.
With the 12th pick of the first round, Tampa Bay selects defensive tackle, University of Miami, Warren Sapp. New Orleans is now on the clock.
Well, let me say this, Joe. When it's all said and done about 4 or 5 years from now, all the defensive players that are going this draft, I'll put my money on Warren Sapp being the best player in the NFL.
I think when you were talking about the best players in this draft, I think Kajana Carter's name certainly came up, and the second guy came up was Warren Sapp. There wasn't any question about it. As a matter of fact, we talked about Warren Sapp going to Tampa Bay at the 7th pick. When Tampa Bay made the trade, all they did was move down, hoping that maybe Warren Sapp would be there. So this thing played out for Sam Weiss exactly the way he wanted. He got something for the move and still got the player that I think he coveted and wanted. Rusty Tillman's got to be excited, the new defensive coordinator, because now he's got somebody a little bit like Cortez Kennedy, who he had out in Seattle, to be able to move around and wreak havoc in offensive backfields.
Well, now you mentioned Cortez Kennedy, Joe. Jerome Brown, Russell Maryland, all first-round picks, defensive tackle at Miami. Some say, I know Cortez is a great player. Jerome Brown, the late Jerome Brown, was a great player. Certainly Russell Maryland's a good player. Some say this could be the best one of them. His motor runs on every play, doesn't it?
Productive player, Chris, and what he does is fire up the entire club. You know, his club was trailing. The Hurricanes were trailing Florida State last year, 14-7. It was really his intensity which got this team moving, got him going, and really fired this football team up. And I think when you look at Warren Sapp, you have to believe the allegations obviously hurt. Minnesota would have taken him with all things being equal. He slides down to Tampa Bay, and what I think he's going to have to do is prove that at 6'1", 280, he can really carve a niche for a player that size, just like a Mike Singletary did as an undersized middle linebacker coming to the Chicago Bears.
Well, you saw the smile a minute ago, Mel, and there it is. It's been a very tough 24 hours for Warren, and it's going to be a tough 5-8 years for opposing teams in the NFC Central when they go up to play Sapp and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go to Mike Gottfried at our ESPN headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut. Mike, no question about football ability on this young man.
Chris, I don't think there's any question, but I think he's better than Russell Maryland, but not quite in the league right now as Jerome Brown or Cortez Kennedy. Let's take a look at Warren Sapp. First of all, he has explosion off the ball. When the ball is snapped at Miami, you want the defensive tackles up the field. Here you see him get in the backfield, make a sack, force the quarterback down. He has great quickness. Second thing is he has great awareness. Now here he's going to put his hands up. He's being double teamed. Now he's going to get his hands up to deflect the ball against Florida State. Again, awareness and knows what's going on all the time. What you'll want out of a defensive tackle on the inside is to collapse the inside pockets. You see him collapse the inside pocket against Boston College, causing problems for the quarterback so that he can't see and force him out of the inside pocket.
All right, Coach, thank you. Warren Sapp now goes down to the big sombrero. Let's go down to Tampa Bay and join Gary with Coach Sam Weiss. Gary?
Thanks, Chris. Sam, I don't know if I want to play poker with you guys. You played it right down to the wire.
Well, this one goes to Rich McKay and all the guys, Tim Ruskell and Jerry Angelo and all the scouts that put a lot of time into this. But there's an element of luck in this draft, as there always is, every year is. And the fact that the story came out about Warren is no question about it. I called Warren on the phone, and we had a nice, frank talk, and I told him, man, I, along with the Buccaneers and the new owners, the Glazier family, are putting our faith in you, and we can't afford to let you let us down. And he promised me, you're not going to be let down, and that I believe him.
Was that right as you made the pick, or was that last night or this morning?
No, that was just now. That's who he was talking to on the phone right there. And I think it's important that a player and the coach have that heart-to-heart talk, and there's an element of, we're in the foxhole together kind of a deal. And I think as you listen to other coaches talk, there's been a lot of coaches that said he's a great player. They had other needs. No one has really said that this guy is not somebody that can't come in and play for a long time in the NFL.
Did you ask him, or will he be required to submit to any special drug testing?
He will and wants to prove himself. When you come in like this, so exposed, so publicly being pointed to like this, I think it's in your favor to say, I want everybody to know that I can control myself. I have maybe stumped my toe, but I'm a different guy. I made a different fiber, and I'm going to prove it to my public.
All right, one last question. I know you were in the middle of that thing with Bill Walsh and Rosano about who took Montana. Why don't you clear it up?
Well, I tell you, can we go to sidebar on this one?
Chris Mortensen, we're going to sidebar on this.
Well, the thing about Warren Sapp is he's going to come into this league under a new drug plan, and the first step in that drug plan is that he would be asked he would undergo evaluation, and after that evaluation, if they recommend testing or if they recommend outpatient or inpatient treatment, if he refused to do that, then there might be some sanctions. But the bottom line is Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, actually had him tested twice since the Indianapolis Scouting Combine, submitted that test to some clubs, and they were negative tests, and has all along has told clubs that Warren's willing to prove himself in any way possible that he is drug-free. Let's go back to Chris in New York.
All right, Mort, thank you. So Warren Sapp becomes the 12th pick in the draft. He goes to Tampa Bay. All right, Chris, thank you. While the Saints still deliberating, there's a little less than 7 minutes to go on their selection. It has been a 24 hours that certainly Warren Sapp and his confidants and his family and those surrounding him will not forget for a long time. 24 hours that must have seemed faster than a New York minute.
This past Thursday, April 20th, teams interested in Sapp asked for the NFL security background check run on the player. Chris Mortensen double-checked the sources before going on air with the story last night.
Their background check by NFL security has produced 7 positive drug tests by Sapp, 6 for marijuana, 1 for cocaine.
Also last night, ESPN's Chris Berman spoke with Seattle Seahawks coach Dennis Erickson by telephone. Erickson was Sapp's college coach. Erickson told Berman that Sapp had tested positive for marijuana twice during his college career, once during Sapp's freshman year, once during his senior year. Sapp's agent issued a blanket denial.
I'd say that report is totally false. Warren has never tested positive for any type of cocaine substance, nor has he ever had any multiple failures or positive tests for marijuana.
This morning, Erickson also denied the NFL security report cited by Mortensen.
The 7 positives, the cocaine, I mean, that's absolutely a lie and not true at all. And that did not, Warren Sapp did not, or was not, I should say, involved in any in those accusations.
Have either Sapp or his agent gotten in touch with you since ESPN went on the air with this report last night?
No, I have not talked to his agent or to Warren about this since you guys went on the air with it last night.
Did you talk last night with Dennis Erickson?
Yes, I did. You know, and I was trying to figure out where these things were coming from. Coach Erickson was obviously there, and he was shocked to hear these reports because these guys have been together, and there was never any problems.
Are you denying telling Chris Berman last night that Sapp twice tested positive for marijuana use at the University of Miami?
All I'm telling you is I cannot talk about any of the players at the University of Miami as far as drug testing is concerned. That's all I can tell you.
I don't think that there's a tremendous amount of concern. I think the teams that were interested in drafting Warren before the reports that surfaced last night are still going to take him. I still see him going in the top 10. Some of the teams with real thin skin, they might be scared away by this bogus media stuff. But, hey, that's fine because, you know, he wouldn't want to play for those guys anyhow.
All right, Warren, what about the 2 positive tests?
I mean, like we said, I mean, it's total fabrication. I mean, I don't even know where it's coming from. So, I mean, wherever somebody's getting it from, I mean, I just actually, you know, show some proof then, if that's what you say.
All right, thanks, Chris. Tampa, again, really getting the benefits of that move-down trade when they were able to get Warren Sapp. They have 3 number 2s going into the second round. Talking to the people before this draft, there was still a big need for a linebacker. Remember, this was a defense that played a 4-2-5 nickel situation defense through the whole game last year. I kind of think that they're maneuvering themselves for Derrick Brooks, the linebacker from Florida State. That'd be a good pick. Sam Weiss told me that he was ready to move at the end of the first round if his guy was available. This might be that move. Chris?
All right, Gary, thank you, and thank you, Chris. So the Buccaneers very busy, moving down, now moving up. So Tampa Bay would end up with 2 first-round selections. We have 5 picks left in the first round. Tampa Bay, and only one of them was there at the start of the day. Tampa Bay, San Diego, Cleveland, Kansas City, and Green Bay. That's how the end of the first round will work. I set the over-under at the first round at 5:53.5 minutes. And so we got about an hour to go. We got to get 5 picks in. I played the under. It's going to be close. Pick is coming in for the Buccaneers. We'll see if Gary had this one corralled. Let's go up to the podium. Or maybe not quite yet. Could be a long name.
A pronunciation.
Well, here's the blue draft card and then the pick. So we haven't had the trade card. I mean, we have not had that announced here yet.
Dallas has traded its pick to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, with the 28th pick in the first round, has selected linebacker from Florida State, Derrick Brooks. And in return for that pick, Dallas acquires 2 picks from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's second-round pick in this draft, which is number 41, and the 63rd selection in this draft, which Tampa Bay had acquired from Philadelphia. So Dallas has the 41st and the 63rd pick in this draft.
Well, we had Derrick Brooks a couple of picks early. He's a good player. And the Buccaneers now have gone with Warren Sapp on the defensive front. And he's gone with Derrick Brooks at linebacker. So defense, the move for Sam Weiss. in Tampa. First year under new ownership, the Glazer family, Mel.
Well, Derrick Brooks is a 6 foot and a quarter, 227-pound, undersized linebacker. Is going to have to fit into that type of scheme down in Tampa. When you really look at him at Florida State, great tackler in the open field, remarkable job, always around the ball. Intense football player, great instincts. There he is picking up the fumble, scooping it up, and when he gets into the broken field, he's a defensive back. As I said, only 227 pounds, runs pretty well, maybe in the 4.65 range. That's why he really couldn't project to a safety spot in the NFL. He had to be a true linebacker. We're going to chase down Greg DeLong there, a tight end in the open field again. I think he'll be one of the best special teams tacklers in the NFL right away. See the ability there around the ball. Comes away with the interception, but as a tackler, a special teams guy, a coverage linebacker in their scheme, he'll fit in pretty well to a team, Chris, that's pretty desperate for some outside linebackers.
Not only are they desperate, Mel, but I think you have to take a look at the sequence of events that have transpired. You have a new defensive coordinator in Rusty Tillman down there. Remember Rufus Porter in Seattle, where Rusty Tillman was the defensive coordinator? This guy fits in almost to the perfect mold of a Rufus Porter. Not real big, give you a great rush off the corner, relentless effort, and if he does get his hands on the ball, there's a chance you wind up with points. So it looks like Rusty's getting some people to fit into the philosophy that he wants to teach and preach and have in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, if he can be a player like Rufus Porter, they would have a heck of a pick. And fans,
look at last 3 years at Miami. That's pretty good stats for a guy that was only there for 3 years. Came out early as a junior. Lombardi Trophy winner as a junior, and was an Outland Trophy finalist also.
So first down off the penalty. Cunningham rolls out. He's chased by Ahanotu and is brought down. Cheating Ahanotu with excellent pressure. Sapp right there as well.
Sapp wasn't fooled at all. Watch this. I think it's a naked boot. I don't think it was a miss. I don't think he missed the handoff. I think it was a naked boot. He comes rushing upfield hard, penetrating hard. He sees it. He reacts quick, gets over there, and gets in on the tackle. Look at the big guy. Look at him chugging around the field there.
Cunningham, quick drop. Aldo Williams has got it. Breaks the tackle and gets the first down. Hardy Nickerson on the stop. 11-yard pickup.
Let's talk about the other linebacker in this unit, Derrick Brooks. He got in on that play there. There's a young kid out of Florida State. Great athlete. They just have to bring him along slow and show him and tell him exactly what points he can rush and do things. He's going to get the whole concept. They really think this guy's going to be a heck of a player for him in the future.
He's been overshadowed by Sapp, who was the other first-round pick. A rarity for the Eagles this time. And Waters immediately brought down. Derrick Brooks hits him in the backfield. Another loss for the Eagles.
And who's there with him but his partner, the other first-round draft choice, Warren Sapp. Great job by both these guys. They weren't fooled here.
It was whisked away. Second down and 9. Gannon under pressure. Look out from behind. Sapp. Ball loose. Raiders recover at the 31-yard line. But a huge play. Mo Collins winds up with the football, so the Raiders still have it.
And just watch here. He's going to come from right here. And you see again, he just takes the inside on Sims and he goes right through Middleton, goes right through that double team.
3rd and 18, and this is going to write a finish. Derrick Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl. Well, could there be a better way for the Buccaneers to put the ultimate exclamation point on it than the #1 defense with the #1 defender intercepting a pass and taking it to the end zone?
Now, out of college and on to the Glazers. I want to thank Malcolm Glazer, the Glazer family, the Buccaneer organization, because on that April afternoon, it wasn't fashionable to be with Warren Sapp. I was sitting there for 2 hours and 45 minutes. But they took me and they said, we're going to change this organization. And Derrick Brooks, you was with me that day. And without you doing, ain't no way we turn it around. And I see you right beside him, Lynch. You were the back end, the front, the back, and the middle. My rocks that made it possible. I want to thank you, fellas.
I'd like to recognize the organization's second Hall of Famer, my draft classmate of '95, my roommate, my teammate, Mr. Personality like no other, but I wouldn't trade you in for another brother, my man, Warren Sapp. People don't understand how we're so opposite, but yet we're so the same. We get along, and I simply tell them it's not their business, it's God's. I love you, man, and you know I wouldn't be standing here without you. Thank you, Warren.